So, it's been a while. I've been like kind of busy. But I want to talk about something that you've been waiting for. Number 3. Okay. Number 3 was it wasn't as heavy as number 2. Number 2 is pretty aggressive, but number 3 we meet Aki's fiance, his actual fiance, named Eve Subaki. Okay, so this girl is kind of like an arranged marriage for Aki. And for Kana, she's like the most beautiful lady she's ever seen in her life. Jid is not appreciative of this lady, like being all up on Aki when Kana likes him. But Eve is also a vampire. She's from the family that raised Jin. Aki. Excuse me. Let's see what's important. So Aki gets all redressed because she like completely like all the clothes came off. But Eve is not very impressed with Kana. She doesn't think that she's fit to be Aki's thrall at all. She doesn't like her. She makes it very known that she doesn't like her. And yeah, it's a situation. Eve is actually a succubus. Lady Eve. For I am the great succubus, Lady Eve. So I guess she's not really a vampire. She's more like a succubus. Which is why she's so pretty. Eve comes to tell Aki that there's going to be a soiree. A soiree is like an event for the Subakis. Eve is pretty mean to Kana. She says like you're nothing more than our prey. So when Eve calls Kana all types of names, Aki decides that he's going to bring her to a boutique. So that's what he does. He brings her to a clothing store and makes her try on a dress. Now the girl looks hella awkward in this dress. Like I hate this dress. I don't know. Like what is this? What is that? That's like a nightgown. That's not even a dress. And he throws down. She's like, "Oh, you're gonna use your hypnotics to pay for this?" And he's like, "Nah, fuck that shit. I'm legit. I got a black card." This dude has a black card. He's been using his mind powers to get free shit. Now, Kana is. She asked him how did he get the money for that. He goes, "I earned it with my body." This dude, I earned it with my body, boy. So Kana it doesn't feel comfortable in this dress. She's a little standoffish about it. She's like, "Oh my god, I'm naked." And Jin's like, "Oh, if you don't like it, I don't like it." So he throws a jacket on her, and he's like, "Let's go take a flight. Literally, let's go fly somewhere." So he's like, "This is gonna be our honeymoon." So let me see. So they get to the top of wherever they're going, and he's like, I'm hungry. So like this whole scene that occurs where it's just like hella awkward for everybody watching, but you know, it's just their life. And we find out that he does this on purpose because he knows that Eve is watching like a creep, like a fucking creeper.com, and he finds it funny. Now, vampires aren't able to eat food. That's a thing. But for some reason, Aki is able to eat grapes out of Kana's hand. I don't think he gets any nutrients from it, but he's able to eat it, which is interesting. And he says, because it's from your hand, I think that I can eat it. And he tried it, and he was able to. But he says, he explains that the reason why vampires uh, can't eat things other than human blood is because it smells really bad. Like for us, if we smell like bad food, we're like, I'm not gonna eat that. It's the same thing for vampires. So, kind of asks about the soiree, and he's like, "Oh well, don't worry about it. I'm gonna see you guys later. Everything's gonna be fine." And she's like, "All right, cool." Um, so this creeper comes down the hallway, and he's like, "Hey man, I need you to go do me a trip because you guys are like the curious whatever the fucks." And he's like, "I need you guys to go do me a favor." So they're like, "Cool," and they take the address, and they're like, it's a little weird because he's like all stumbling and bumbling and shit, but they're like, "Okay, we'll do it." And so the address takes them to the soiree. Awkward, right? Cool. So we find out that Aki is a pure blood prince of the Sabakins, who is like the all powerful. Um, we see this guy, he's the Baron. This guy right here. Um, Eve is the princess? Not really. Unofficial princess. Not really until she's married, but uh, this Baron dude tries to make this like a grand scene or whatever, and then Aki just takes out a knife and he's like, "All you guys want to do is see me bleed, right? So there you go." And they're like all crawling on the ground and shit to get to his blood. Like it's really gross and weird, like how they react to it. Like they get close and they sniff it, and she's like, I don't even know what the hell she's doing, but just like his blood is like apparently like the best thing ever. Um, and during this whole time, we find out that there's a drug going around, and we don't know where it's coming from, and we don't know what it's made of because it's like super like potent, and people like lose their minds, like they turn into lunatics after they ingest it, even though they may not have a stigma. Um, so this soiree begins, and he's locked in a cage, and he is being forced to fight off these lunatics that have been given this artificial medicine. Um, Aki's blood is considered like a something strong, something that everybody wants. All these aristocrats that are in the room. Um, and this is why Aki didn't want Kana to come to there, because he didn't want her to see him like this. See him put against these things that the Baron has made. He has made lunatics. Um, he says like um, These are people that are addicted to the drug that is called Electra. Um, they are artificial lunatics, and the drug is actually derived from Aki's blood, which clearly pisses him off. Uh, and it's like, yeah. So he's like, dude, you use my blood to make a drug? And he's like, yeah. Baron don't care. And it's like, depending on the phase of the moon, this drug is either okay or it gets really hard for them to take. On the full moon, they'll feel very heavenly peace, or either a diabolical ecstasy, or like on a lesser moon, they'd be more calm, I guess. And tonight is a particularly new moon, so they turn into lunatics, and they have already lost all types of like, they don't know what the fuck is going on. All they know is they want his blood. So now Aki has to fight these guys, and he's like, this is fucking gross. Like, and this whole time he's fighting them, he's not killing them. He refuses to kill them because they are not his target. They're not lunatics. So we find out that Lord Subakin is here. This guy right here in the wheelchair. And he is actually wheelchair ridden for the most part. He can't walk, that we know of at this point. Uh, Let me see here. So Lord Subakin is referred to as the Emperor. Uh, he's the one that trained Aki to be who he is and how he is and what he has become. He is the person who raised him. Aki tells him like, don't think I'm still a kid. Like, I can handle this. And he can't kill them because they're only human. So freaking Pen Pen is here now. Like, he's been here the whole time, but like, he's chilling. He could forever be Pen Pen. I hope everyone knows that. Now, the whole time, Kana's wanting to protect Aki because they're together. They're a pair. He does, she does, she does, he does. It's awful. So, Dealer says to her, like, dude, don't go because, you know, he's trying to protect you. And if you go, you're going to end up risking that. We find out here now that Aki did not give Kana her full powers. He just gave her a partial thrall energy, and he needs to give her the full thing so that she can be of use to him, and that they can have a deeper connection. We find out that Aki's stigma, his birth stigma, is pride. So he doesn't want to like lose face in front of his girls. And Jin is like, dude, I'm gonna help. I don't give a flying fuck. And then, so obviously, Kana's like, me too. Hashtag me too. Oh god, that's awful. I'm so sorry. Sorry. Um. So somebody tries to injure Kana, and Jin protects her, and we find out it's Lady Tsubaki, with her freaking rose whip. She's again a thug. This whole time, here's Aki fighting these dudes. He hasn't killed a single one. They're all still alive. So the Baron is upset because he didn't kill any of these guys, and so Lady Subaki's like, "Oh, but this is not the end. This is just the beginning. I got the dessert over here, right? What do we find as dessert? Freaking Kana and Jin is dessert. Ugh." So Eve tells the lunatics, like, no matter what you do to this girl, she's not gonna die. So you can just be as evil as you want to be, and everything is gonna be a-okay. So back to this. Got a little phone call. Um, so basically, yeah, dude is forced to fight these people, and it's not cool. He gets pissed off, dude. Like, he sees Kana and Jin in there, and he's just like, dude, like, what the fuck? He's like, I wasn't designed to be this obedient. So like, let's see. So now Baron is just like, oh, that's your thrall. Like, nobody knew before because, like, he just didn't give a shit. Like, but, like, now he sees her, like, in that position, and he sees his other friend there, and he's just like, nah, nah. Like, he nearly kills Eve. He's so mad. So Baron asks, is this your thrall? And he's like, but yeah, how fucking dare you? And then Aki gets mad at Dealer, freaking Pen Pen, because he's like, I told you to keep them away, and how could they be here? And he's like, well, I wasn't able to see. And then he's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, I've had enough of your bullshit. And then Pen Pen's like, there's nothing we can do now except for just try to save them. So now it's like, okay, now that she's brought to the Soiree, we can announce her officially as your thrall, which is awful because for Aki, that means that he has to doubly protect her. And for Jin, that means that he's also a target and she is also a target that he has to protect as well. She will be known as Aki's one weak point, and because if she dies, he dies. Now, at this point, Aki is forced. He is completely forced to give Kana the full thrall powers because now he can't back out. He couldn't back out before, but like he can't not give her power because now she is in danger. So she has to be able to protect herself. So he has to give her his blood. And this is how the transfer went. Successful transfer. She gets the feels, and he's just like, man, I ain't done with you yet, fam. He's like, this is dinner time. So he announces she is my thrall, and our flesh and blood are one. So at this point, Baron's like, oh shit, we got a princess. So he announces to everybody that, now she is his princess. He's a beautiful thrally princess. And Lord Sabatin, right here we see a little glimpse of his face. He's smiling. He's a happy little dude right now. Obviously Eve is pissed because that means that Aki is pretty much not hers anymore. Like, It is what it is. So now we learn about a little bit about their past. Let's see. What is important? Um, it is said that Aki eats people, and Aki's like, it's true. I even ate my brother. Yes, nobody. And that's because Kana, because they're now connected, can see what's going on in Aki's brain, and she now knows. Oh my God, you ate your bra, and she calls out idiot, and freaking Aki's like, how you gonna call out another man's name, you bitch? Like, what is your problem? And she's still naked because like no clothes and shit, but like and Jin's knocked out, but he's like, we were brought here by Lord Tsubakin to like just wait, but they're just waiting for Jin to wake up because he can't carry. Well, he could carry Kana and Jin at the same time. So now that Jin is awake, they make their move and they decide they're gonna try to get out of there. In the hallways, they are attacked by these weird looking things. They are put out by the Baron. And they're hella weak, but the problem is they regenerate like crazy. Like you cut one and it's now two, cut two, now it's now four. So it's just like insanity. So like they have to find a way to destroy the whole thing at once. So I guess they're kind of like Kana. You cut Kana, she just regenerates. She's like, what? So Kana is now in her thrall brain, and she's just like, I can do this. This is a thing I can do. So she steps forward and she's like, I'll do it. So she goes up there and she's just like, she just gets the commands. She's just like, fucking, I gotta kill this thing. And then she sets out a blue flame and it destroys the beast. And then Kana's like, Aki, I want you to drink my blood. Which is really rare. But Aki's like, dude, snap out of it. And she's like, huh? And then he's just like, Jin, you carry Kana because like right now I just can't. And Kana doesn't want Jin to carry her. She wants Aki to carry her. We find out that that blue flame was actually a command, a mental command from Aki to Kana to destroy that thing. We meet Baron again. Baron's in the hallway waiting for them downstairs, and he's just like, please return to us, Aki, and your thrall. And return to Tsubakin. He's like, Aki's like, in return to Tsubakin, like, I'm in the middle of the game. Like, I gotta go save my brother. I ain't got time for your bullshit. So Baron tells him, like, hey man, guess what? I already sent out these lunatics to cause mayhem. Like, you're gonna have a hard time finding these stigmas because it's not gonna be a sign anymore. There's just artificial ones just running around with your blood, with the smell, that you can't tell them apart. Poor Jin can't tell them apart. It just smells awful to him. Baron says, like, hey man, guess what? I have a stigma. You want that? You're gonna have to defeat me. So, he tells him, I can make you, he tells Aki, I can make you the Black Messiah. I can make you the Black Messiah. Just like, and he's like, and then I'll rule over you. You'll be my servant. And then Aki's like, no. So he's like, look at my stigma. I have a stigma too. Um, he attained the gluttony stigma. Attained it. He isn't born like it with Aki, but he got one. Um, um, so Aki's like, so you would make yourself a king and then make yourself a ruler over me when I'm over you? He's like, that sounds like treason because that's some bullshit. Um, and so at this point, he's just like, I'm done. He's like, I've got one target and I'm about to annihilate it. And that's exactly what he does. He grabs the Baron by the wrist and he takes his stigma. Just like straight up takes that shit. Like, thanks. Um, and then dealer comes down. He's like, why doesn't anybody like learn the rules of the game and just do a thing? And poor Baron is now a statue. He is solid stone. His gluttony turned him to stone. And we find out at this point, depending on how you got your stigma, is how you die. Um, based on how you use your stigma's powers, I should say. So he used his to basically harm a bunch of people. Like, he basically biblical that shit. Like, he was basically that town that turned to solid salt. And now he is now solid stone because he killed everyone, or he attempted to. Um, he sacrificed so many lives that it just is like, now you're stone, bro. And every time Aki gets a stigma, it puts weight and it puts pressure on his body. Now he has, I believe it's either 2 or 3 stigmas at the moment. And he's just like totally like, ugh, he feels like shit. He's just like having a hard time breathing and everything. Like, it's just a bad situation. Um, and then who makes an appearance? None but the angels. Yeah. The angels arrive, and they take the head off of the Baron. So there is no coming back for the Baron. He has no head. And they're like, what is certain is that I cannot allow one such as you to have this, have this power. And that pretty much ends the book. And that's this one. So you should like read that. I'm at ONI-CON right now, so I will definitely be posting more about the next book, the 4th one, and then yeah, see you next time. Bye.